Okay, welcome to Top 100 Shortcuts for Logos 8, Part 2 of 5. And again, as I mentioned, you can get Part 1 on the website. Just do a search for Top 100 V8 and that'll get you there. So before we jump into that, purpose of a webinar, provide training for Logos Bible software. Provide training so you can study the topic for yourself. We're going to provide biblical insights related to the topic where that's applicable. That's not going to be so much useful for these type of webinars. It will be fast-paced. We try to include a lot of information to increase the training value. Some items you will be easily able to follow along, but there will be others due to the complex steps to just sit back and watch. Don't worry, all webinars are recorded for purchase and review offline. We're not going to include any personal book, but at the end, we will release a spreadsheet that has the name of each shortcut. If you want the table of contents for each webinar, just go to the product page. I'll be listing each tip there. That'll make it a little bit easier for you to find the content you're looking for. But we will release a spreadsheet. That was a suggestion by Michael. Thanks, Michael, for that great idea. And we'll include that at the very end. The way I've organized these shortcuts is in categories. It's really impossible to say, okay, number 100 is the least important shortcut. Number 1 is the most important shortcut because everyone's needs are different. So we're going to group them by categories. So we have the miscellaneous category, resources that save you time. That's where we're going to pick up from last time, Bible information, and getting summarized data quickly. So let's get started with Top 100 Shortcuts for Logos 8, Part 2 of 5. Let me go ahead and jump in to the Logos program, and let's get started. This will be shortcut number 81. And this is a big deal. When you're studying the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, chronology is very important. Now, there's always some debate on the order of the Gospels, and so that's going to be a little bit of a challenge sometimes, but you'll find out as you go do your commentary work where the issues are. But for the most part, this resource I'm going to show you is a great shortcut. So I'm going to go to the library, click on library, and I'm going to type in Gospel Fourfold. Now, there'll be a couple resources depending on your library that will come back. One is from A.B. Simpson, and the other one is Pendleton and McGarvey. We want the red one, Pendleton and McGarvey. Notice there's a hyphen in there, fourfold as well. Let me click and open this resource. Now, the reason I love this one is because it integrates the text so it reads as one flowing narrative. So you can put in your passage, there it is, Matthew 8:18 through 27. And then you have the other texts that are related. Notice the footnotes, A, B, and C. So as we start to read, it inserts the text in that order. So, and that day, that's from Mark 4:35. One of those days, there's the one from Luke, C. And then B, again, when the even was come, about sunset. There's letter A. When Jesus saw the great multitude about him, he gave the commandment to depart unto the other side. Then B, he saith unto them, let us go over to the other side. So this is all three texts integrated and organized in a chronological approach. Now, like I said, you can take most of this to the bank, but there's always going to be some nuances. But this makes your job so much easier to understand how to put the text together. I love this feature, and I use this to prepare a sermon, specifically Jesus calms the storm and the demoniac. And this was a huge help. And what you may not realize, the text, all three, all referring to the same event, but there is a progression within those three texts. And the way you can discover it is by looking at the various words. For example, there's several different words for sleep. There's several different words for where the water is, in the boat or on the boat. This particular book, The Fourfold Gospel, will certainly help you find that order, and then the word studies will help you finalize that order. So let me go ahead and bring up my church website here. I wasn't planning on doing this, so all right. So if you go to brooksidebc.org and you go to sermons and you scroll down, you have the series and preacher. Click on preacher, and you'll see my name in there, John Fallahee. The sermon is here, Who Can This Be? March 10th. Not seeing any questions, so we're going to go to the next shortcut, number 80. So we're still in the resources. This is an absolute must-have resource. It's Bruce Metzger's Textual Critical Insights. Now, let me tell you why this is a big deal. Most of us don't have the kind of training that's necessary to understand which text is the best text. This is where scholars who know Hebrew, Greek, they look at the original manuscripts and they make very important decisions on which text is the best text, which text represents the original author's text. So way smarter scholars than you and I have put these resources together. Now, what makes the textual commentary on the Greek New Testament by Bruce Metzger so great is he will tell you if there's something really significant. There are a lot of little issues, but they're really insignificant issues. But on occasion, there are some big ones. Here's a great example. Let me go ahead and open up my New American Standard Bible. And you may not have been aware of this particular text if you've never gone through it. This is the text of the adulterous woman. Now, depending on your Bible, you'll get some kind of bracket or footnote. And the bracket and footnote is to say that this later manuscript adds the story to the adulterous woman. Numbering is John 7:53, 8:11. You may not realize this, but this particular section of the text does not show up in the oldest manuscripts. If you are unaware of this, the textual commentary by Metzger gives you the background on this issue so that you can understand why it's here and the issues surrounding it. If the passage you're in is not mentioned in here, then that means there's no significant textual issues. So I just love this because very quickly I can find out what the issue is and what are the concerns. Now, it's true, this is going to be discussed in multiple commentaries, typically the exegetical commentaries, but they may only give a little bit of lip service to it or not even address it at all. And so you could get caught off guard. So this book is excellent. Take advantage of that one. So let me go ahead and close that down. All right, short.